But yeah, we did everything basically as you normally would in construction for a home. We poured a foundation, we built up the stick frame, we put a roof on that, and then at that point we did the polished floor after so that it was slightly protected. And then from there we did the Hempcrete wall fill, allowed that the time it needed to dry. We did the interior plaster, gave the walls a little bit more time to dry, and did the exterior plaster.
How many square feet, roughly?
It's 605 square feet inside. Yeah, the upstairs doesn't count because it's considered a storage loft.
Okay. Roughly, approximately, what do you think it cost you per square foot to build, to construct? And I know it's not including your labor.
It was like 550.
550.
Yeah, 550 a square foot.
Because you had import the.
And all the engineers. Yeah, lots of.
But you had all those free hands.
Yeah, only for putting the hemp on the walls.
I know, but still.
Yeah, no, it was expensive. And like a lot of that is just at the time, right? What we were faced with.
And that being how many years ago again?
7 years ago.
Okay, so.
When we started, yeah.
It's probably a third of that cost now, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, for sure. We could save money and it could be done more efficiently. But we also wanted some of those like nicer features and fixtures inside, and that also put up the budget a little bit.
All right, so what am I looking at here?
This is our water storage tank. So we collect the rainwater from the roof, and we use this in the summertime to water our gardens and everything around here. So it's just pure irrigation water, nothing more than that. At one point we had thought about doing water supply for the building, but the filtration system is more costly than we were prepared for at that time. So maybe in the future that'll be a change.
Mm-hmm.
For now, no.
And what is the little building over there?
That's my workshop.
Is that all? Did you use hemp for that?
No, that's actually metal siding.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just to give it the same kind of theme there. So that's, yeah, just sheet metal.
Now, being in an earthquake zone, did you have to have certain inspectors come out and validate?
The earthquake zone is not an individual requirement. That requirement is taken on by the different inspectors and different engineers at their under their specialty. So like for our structural engineer, he had to take into account that he needed to add in extra bracing and extra shear panels in a couple of spots to allow for the building to be what it's going to be, for it to allow to stand without having sheeting on the outside, and also for that little bit of an earthquake zone that we are in. But nothing specific to earthquake as much as you might think. Most of that just comes from like having an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the wood here. Is that pine or
Cedar.
cedar?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, the building is cedar, fir, and maple. The 3 species.
Is that what you used in the windows?
Yeah.
The cedar.
Windows are fir with fir sills. The front desk and the stations are all maple.
Oh, who's calling? Do you know what bird that is? Love it.
That is a quail. The prehistoric bird. They're a direct descendant of reptilians.
The quail? I
Yeah.
wasn't aware of that. It's lovely.
Yeah, they're very strange animals, actually.
Are these the type that hunters
Yeah, people eat quail. Yeah.
eat? Okay.
Eat quail eggs, yeah.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, so at the back here, this is essentially our staff entrance, our bit of a privacy space that we have for them to feel like they're not attached to the house, so you're not like being a part of that building and this building, so it creates a separation, which is, yeah, it's great.
How many layers on the outside of the
For
plastering?
the 3 layers. 2 layers, 2 thick layers and 1 thin layer to finish. So 2 layers at 3/8 and 1 at 1/8.
Did you train some craftsmen or friends to help you with it? Because I know I've done it. I've taken some workshops, and it's quite an art. It's beautiful, but
I have one friend who is a plasterer part-time, so it's like his weekend warrior thing. And so me and him did it together,
yeah. And how many layers again?
3 layers.
3.
On the outside and 3 on the inside, yeah. But the inside's really thin layers. We were able to just pretty quick.
So once you started the construction, time to build it, construct it, and complete it, 6 months?
Specifically on building alone, from the time we started with concrete to the time that I was walking away from the outside, like 2.5 years. Yeah. Like I said, I did it all myself. So like building the foundation, putting all those forms together. It was like weeks and weeks of work to pour concrete for a day, and then weeks and weeks of work to pour concrete for a day, and then I built the entire building by myself. I put the whole roof structure together, like framing wise, by myself.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, I would hire a helper. I would hire someone that's younger, and I could just get them to do all the little running around things.
Maybe you want to specialize.
Yeah, we'll see.
They need that. Yeah. They really do. Tristan?
I've had a couple people offer or request, and I've put together a few bids for hemp houses, and I've never heard back from any of the people. So,
have they come to see yours?
They've come to see it. They've requested that I put in a bid in on their new building, and this and that and this and that. And I've done 3 now, and I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, well, I've never heard back from any of them, and it's kind of like I don't really need to like be looking for that if there isn't a market for it right now. So yeah, it's challenging because like you could specialize in it and it'd be great to specialize in, but like I said, there isn't the customer base right now. There isn't enough people that want this.
How do we enlighten them?
We have to find ways. That is the biggest challenge. Just like putting it out there. We need it in like, it needs to be almost in the education system in so many ways. We're looking at a net zero planet right now, and have all these things coming out from our government saying they're not going to stop selling gas cars and this and that, and they're trying to put all of the responsibility on individuals. They're trying to put it on you and me, and trying to make us feel guilty that the one thing you don't recycle is what's changing the world. But then there's these 6 companies, maybe even 10 companies in the world, and they put out more pollution than we could ever stop putting out. And they're not at all the problem. It's us. And that's what we're led to believe. And so the government is the people that need to make this change. They need to push green building. They need to put out an incentive. They put out incentives to change your windows. They need to put out an incentive for green building to get people to even wonder what green building is. And that might even be like the first real step for this to becoming something.
Are you part of any group? I mean,
No, I'm not a part of anything.
Do you give talks? Do you give or teach classes to some of the high schoolers?
No, I've never done anything. No.
You'd be very good.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
they need it right now. We need craftsmen. We need people. This is where the hope comes in for the young. For their future. They can be in charge. You know.
I think that could be very well where the change comes from, is inspiring the youth of today. That could be it. That could be the great.
Don't you think the juniors and the seniors maybe talk to the local school here and bring out, because it would give them hope, especially right now.
Yeah, for sure. Introducing something that is so much better for the world,
and it's easy. That's the amazing part.
I know everybody comes here and they look at the building like, this is so hard. How did you do everything? I'm like, it's actually really simple construction. Like, I love all the credit you guys give me, but like, I didn't do anything too fancy in there. Like, the shelves in there are probably my fanciest work I did. Like, yeah.
Oh, this is just, it's beautiful. Yeah, it is so easy. Life can be so much easier and healthier. It's
Well,
the name of the company.
so Hempworks Canada, I believe, is the company name. The website was hempworks.ca, and the owner is Brandon Cochran. So he was one of our most helpful people when it came to the hemp. We actually ordered our hemp through his company to Canada. Now he's facilitating from Alberta. But for a $2,000 retainer, he was able to help us through the entire project, help find engineers when we were unable to, help give the engineers the information that they were requesting when we had no idea what it was. He was exponential in getting us through this project, and I would recommend him to anyone. Yeah.
How long, and the retainer lasted until the project was completed?
Yeah, he never asked for another penny.
How did you find him?
Looking for places to buy hemp, and he was the only.
But just on the internet?
Yeah, and he was the only company that did it. Yeah.
And this was 2015, 14.
This was in 2016 at that point. Yeah.
Interesting.
So we were getting that way. Yeah.
How many farmers are growing industrial hemp here in Canada? Do you know?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I just know of their main supplier that are in Alberta at this point in time. Yeah. But not a lot. I think that there's this big challenge that we've been fighting up until, I guess weed was legalized, where they had to have their crop tested regularly to make sure that it was under the certain THC levels.
Didn't become hot.
And so I think that was too much of a requirement for any farmer to take on, for all this extra overhead and paying people when they could just grow corn or hay and not stress about it and still make the same money probably, right? So
well, it gets subsidized in the US, and I think you all subsidize too, don't you, in Canada, on the farmers. That's great information. No, so he was invaluable. That was
yeah, for sure, yeah.